You know, what happens in the next 3 years could very well decide whether the United States stays a global tech superpower. There's a massive shift going on right under our noses, and it could leave the US completely dependent on China for the technologies that are going to define our future. So let's break down exactly what's happening. We're talking about $1 trillion bet. That's what China is placing on the future of technology. And it's a gamble that most people in the West don't even know is happening. This isn't just some far-off prediction either. It is unfolding right now. So that leads to a really sobering question, right? What if America is already losing a tech war it doesn't even realize it's fighting? We've really got to unpack this because the implications for who holds power over the next decade, well, they're just immense. Okay, to really get what's going on, you have to see the pattern. China isn't just randomly throwing money at problems. It's running a very specific four-step playbook. It's a system they've used to conquer whole industries, from solar panels to drones. And the scary part? It works with almost mathematical precision. At the heart of this whole strategy is a concept Xi Jinping himself calls involution. Now, the best way to think about this is like a government-sponsored Hunger Games, but for corporations. The state basically funds this incredibly intense, brutal competition at home, all to forge corporate champions that are tough enough for global conquest. So here's exactly how that playbook works. Step 1, the state picks an industry it likes and just floods it with subsidies. We're talking huge loans, cheap land, you name it. Step 2, hundreds of companies jump in, and it becomes this brutal war of attrition. Step 3, a few survivors emerge. They're battle-tested, super efficient, and oh yeah, they're still backed by billions in state cash. And then, the final step, step 4, these champions go global. They use their state-backed advantages to sell products at prices that no free market company could ever hope to match, and they just systematically wipe out the competition. Now, this isn't just some history lesson. China is deploying this exact playbook as we speak, across the industries that are literally going to define the 21st century. So let's take a look at the new battlegrounds where this is all going down. First up, low-orbit satellites. Right now, there are at least 4 major Chinese companies building these massive satellite constellations to go head-to-head with SpaceX's Starlink. You've got companies like Geely Group and Kafan planning to launch thousands, even tens of thousands of satellites. But here's the thing. The goal isn't just to put Starlink out of business. The real prize is to control so much of the world's critical communication infrastructure that Western nations become dependent on Chinese tech. And how do you get all those satellites into orbit? Well, the same playbook is being run in the rocket business. Get this, right now, there are about 40, that's 40, competing commercial launch companies in China's space industry. It's another economic war of attrition. They're already sending up satellites at a crazy speed, and several are getting really close to replicating SpaceX's reusable rocket tech. And the pattern just keeps on going in what might be the most advanced assault yet, humanoid robots. I mean, just look at this chart. It tells you everything you need to know. Out of about 160 humanoid robot companies in the world, China has more than 60 of them. That's more than double the number in the entire United States. But here's the real kicker. China's advantage isn't just in the number of companies. It's that they control the entire value chain. They dominate the manufacturing of all the robot parts. According to one analysis, a humanoid robot arm costs twice as much to build in the US as it does in China. I mean, how do you even compete with that? That's an almost insurmountable advantage. So, all of this leads to a really stark contrast in national strategy. When you step back, what you're seeing is a tale of 2 completely different approaches to securing the future. On one side, you have China just going all in. They're pushing local governments to develop these future industries, satellites, rockets, robots, you name it. And their goal is to dominate the entire supply chain. Then on the other side, some analyses suggest the US is actually signaling a desire to shrink the number of strategic industries it supports, potentially walking away from tech sectors that were previously seen as critical to national security. And let's be really clear about what's at stake here, because it could not be higher. We're talking about huge national security vulnerabilities if our own defense systems end up relying on Chinese parts. We're talking about permanent economic dependence for the tech that will run our daily lives. And of course, a total loss of leadership and innovation in industries that are going to be worth trillions. Which really brings us to the central question. It's not really about if China will succeed in some of these industries. Frankly, with this playbook, they will. The real question is this. How many industries is America willing to just cede before it decides to respond? Now, this is not some distant theoretical problem that we can worry about in 20 years. The sources we're drawing from for this explainer suggest this is a flat-out race against time and that the next few years are going to be absolutely decisive. Look at this timeline. The core assertion here is that these next 3 years, 2025, 2026, and 2027, are going to determine America's entire technological destiny. This is it. This is the critical window where the outcome of this whole trillion-dollar gamble is pretty much going to be decided. So, we're left right here. China has placed its trillion-dollar bet. It's backed by a proven playbook and just a relentless national drive to dominate the industries of the future. The board is set, the pieces are already moving, and there's really only one question left. How will America respond?